This is Things You Might Have Heard, and I am Jay Cleveland Payne. And this morning, as I record this to you live at 5:50 a.m. on this Monday, the 29th of January, I'm going to provide for you the latest for the weekend's edition of information, politics, current events, and pop culture news that you vetted as conversational. This is your go-to segmental source for both mainstream and unconventional news stories. A lot of unconventional ones in today's queue, and 10 of them in this queue ready to give to you from the past weekend. We'll explain the vetting process, how you call them conversational, how we put them into this headline thing here, and more things, plus fun stuff for today, specific for the 29th of January that you need to stick around for to get to. We want to remind you that our website is a conversationproject.com. More information about us, the full details about our offerings all the time are there, along with talking to us, chatting with us about what you want, what you feel you need to tell us at the conversation inbox at gmail.com, our email address. Stories in no particular order. They're just kind of lined out this way as we went through them. Let's get into the stories, the headlines for this Monday, January 29th, 2024. Headline number one reads like this. Explicit AI generated Taylor Swift images spread quickly on social media. This has been a big deal over the past weekend as a lot of explicit, that means kind of naughty, AI images were generated by Taylor Swift, by many people, maybe some bots themselves. And it caused an actual shutdown of searches for images on various places. X is no longer allowing you to search for Taylor Swift images because of the nature of what's going on there. There's so many out there. Most of them kind of going with the cheeky nature that she's following the Kansas City Chiefs and have them in various weird garb with the Chiefs gear and doing really weird things up in this booth of the box for the games. That's not very nice. It's not very pretty. It's not very good at all, but this is what's happening out there right now. AI images, being able to do deep fakes of all sorts of things are becoming a big deal all over the internet. It's not just porn for porn's sake or trying to revenge porn your girlfriends. It is big business, actually. So keep an eye out for these things. And if you see Taylor Swift looking a little naughty, chances are it's not something that she sent to Travis Kelce that got leaked. It's something that was faked for us to see on purpose. Our second headline for this morning, it reads like this. Alabama execution using nitrogen gas, the first ever, again puts U.S. at the front of death penalty debate. Sorry for the poor read on that one. But we talked about earlier in the week on Friday, basically, that the fact that the death penalty execution went over in Alabama and what some people said about it, watching the actual proceedings go down. This is the second time this person was actually put to death or tried to put to death. Kenneth Eugene Smith. This time, breathing pure oxygen gas methods chose to use was controversial. The people using it said it was basically the most humane thing they can come up with, but watching this ceremony, watching the actual process, wasn't quite as easy as one would think. This, of course, puts the U.S. on the top of the tier for talking about capital punishment because, as far as I can tell, we are the ones leading the way, if not the only ones still doing it. It is what it is. It is something that should be discussed going forward. Is it a deterrent? Not really. Is it an actual punishment that's worth using? That's a question that needs to be addressed. The third story for this morning, Trump's White House medical unit allegedly dispensed drugs to ineligible staff. A recent investigation of the Department of Defense's Office of Inspector General revealed that the White House clinic improperly distributed controlled substance during previous administrations, that being the Trump administration. And more before that, but the numbers during Trump's administration were huge. The inquiry was triggered by complaints highlighting issues with the clinic's operation and management of medications. Report raises concerns about the clinic's practices and oversights of controlled substance within it. Of course, Ronnie Jackson, the very famous doctor who said Donald Trump is like stronger than 1,000 men, who went on to run for elected office Congress in Texas, was running that office back in the day. So there's a whole lot of things going on that one, including the fact that Ronnie Jackson was allegedly doing drugs and basically doing illicit things while he was in that office. Part of the reason why Trump sort of liked him and why he get away with saying things about Trump that Trump loved, because he had to keep him around. Those are all allegations, all alleged leads, if you will. But what we know is that the office was definitely abusing its power of prescription at the time. Our headline for number 4 this morning. Alaska Airlines resumes flying Boeing 737 MAX 9 plane after door plug blowout. few weeks back, a door plug came out of an Alaskan Airlines plane, which caused all 737 MAX 9s to be grounded to check on the same thing. And it was noted that there was an issue with the screws in the door plugs in this particular places. So most of them have been fixed. Not many of them actually went back in the air yet, but Alaska Airlines is putting its big 737 MAX 9s aircraft back into the air. Thorough inspections and safety checks of planes are saying that they are ready to go. Resuming flights indicates confidence in aircraft safety and readiness for operation. Although, like we said, there's a worldwide concern and scrutiny over the plane. So we'll see how many other airlines are going back to the 737 MAX 9 sooner rather than later, or whether they're going to find something else to fly on that large scale. And number 5, and this one is salacious on purpose. I have to tell you because we have to do this. Conversation project and things you might have heard are based on engagement and clicks, and this story is purely for clicks. Porn star Jessie Jane found dead at 43 alongside boyfriend. The article that we got from Entertainment Weekly gave us the headlines on the passing news, sad news, the passing of Jessie Jane, well-known adult film actress at the age of 43. Jane, whose real name is Cindy Taylor, which might have been a fairly good name on its own, was found dead in her home in Moore, Oklahoma. Circumstances around the death point to a suspected overdose. Jane was a prominent figure in the adult film industry and had achieved considerable fame in the early 2000s. Her unexpected death has been a shock to many in the industry and her fans. So if you are a fan, then this is the time to send the thoughts and prayers to the family of Jessie Jane. Cindy Taylor and her boyfriend have both found. Looks like it's going to be ruled an overdose. Looks like it's going to be a drug-related something. We will find out later because, as I said, we need the clicks. So if this pops back up for a review, we'll put it back in there to get your engagement into it. You obviously engaged it high enough to get into the story. We'll tell you about how things happen in a bit. But porn actress Jessie Jane dead at the age of 43. Our next story. University of Texas cancels black graduation amid Senate Bill 17. This is a pretty complicated story. I'm going to read you some of the bullets we got from the robot editor. A recent email from Brandon Flunder, director of the Center of Leadership and Learning at the University of Texas, revealed the closure of the Multicultural Engagement Center due to the state's anti-DEI legislation, Senate Bill 17. Along with some of the things that were essentially, killed because of the anti-DEI legislation, was Texas University of having a separate graduation, a black graduation, if you will. Now, if you can remember back to, the 40s, the 50s, maybe the 60s, segregated graduations were the rage because people were segregated. And if you can remember back to maybe the 80s and 90s, in many rural places, segregated graduations and especially segregated proms, which actually still pop up here and there, are there because of segregation. We'll see how this thing plays out on the national stage. As this is the first time I've heard of anything on an actual university, I say actual by a large-scale university, Texas being that, having a separate graduation for separate ethnicities, a black graduation coming down this line for whatever reasons. Side note, when I graduated from a rural high school in Louisiana, out of just kind of showing up there out of nowhere, to be honest, they had to have, they didn't have separate graduations, but there was a black pastor and a white pastor and, different people to cause to, so that there was a fairness in the ethnicities of the group, because it wouldn't just be all white graduation, all black graduation. Those things still exist, and to the point where they have purely actual separate graduations, segregated graduations. And hearing here at Texas, it hurts my heart. But also, I do have some issues with the way DEI actually works in practice, not the fact that we should actually be talking about people in other ethnicities, other diversities. If you should be doing it, just the way it works out turns into just a reason for other people to fight about it. Let's go to the next headline we have. This is story number 7 for this morning. A convoy calling themselves God's Army plans to head to Texas border to stop migrants from entering the U.S. Not quite God's Army, but they are actually called themselves the American Patriots, an organization armed and ready to help the folks in Texas hold back the Mexican border immigrants, the migration issue there. Now, here's the thing. If you're armed and your big deal is we're armed militia, what do you do with the arms? You probably are going to attack people and shoot people. They've had rallies in many states, California, Arizona, and Texas, to talk about immigration, that being a big thing. And they're sending a large group of folks in this convoy to be a part of the helping system. And then by helping, that means literally keeping the people from not our country from stepping on our land and getting to our country. We will see how this one plays out. Definitely coming down the line. Now, this is technically a Britney Spears story, but we're calling it Justin Timberlake to get the clicks because he's big right now. Justin Timberlake has a new single called Selfish, and the headline for story number 8 reads, Britney Spears fans troll Justin Timberlake by streaming her 2011 Selfish instead of his new song. So Britney gets a big hit because people are streaming the song from 2011 that's Selfish, named after, created by Britney Spears, as opposed to the new single that's out by Justin Timberlake with his new album coming out. Of course, a lot of this is people standing up for Britney after backlash coming from her latest book, her memoir, which talked about her life with Mr. Timberlake and how the relationship went, and the revealed the abortion that she had for a baby that would be Justin Timberlake's at the time, because they just weren't quite ready to deal with that. And then the relationship broke up, and essentially Justin kind of just started ragging on Britney for a long, long time. Meanwhile, Britney's fans are sticking up for her, despite Britney being Britney in some cases, to keep up appearances to show that she is still strong, still supported, and throwing a wrench into Justin Timberlake's comeback. And if you watch the Saturday Night Live skit he did on Saturday, you probably found that even more funnier than it should be. Let's go to the next story, which is actually boy star Erin Moriarty quits IG after Megyn Kelly accuses her of plastic surgery. I don't think it was just Megyn Kelly. There's a lot of people doing internet trolling on this one. I guess Megyn Kelly was the biggest name and did it publicly on her radio show and in her actual social media. Erin Moriarty, known for her role in The Boys, has decided to leave Instagram after denying having plastic surgery. You may have seen some of the pictures of her out there on the red carpet lately, where it seems like her nose is a little more thin, and her eyes are a little sunken back. She's got that sort of Madame Puppet look in some things. It's pretty much just a bad angle picture, but enough bad angle pictures are out there so people who need the clicks themselves are jumping on the bandwagon saying, hey, it's bad plastic surgery and it looks terrible. She said it doesn't happen, and to leave the sort of comments away, she's actually walking away from Instagram, which we should probably all do, to be honest. And the number 10 story this week, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom have, quote, stopped putting effort into a relationship. Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry are spending less time together, leading fans to wonder if their engagement is over. The headline is basically they're putting less effort into a relationship because they're kind of squabbling over things. Orlando went to some stuff that Katy didn't want to go to, and Katy went to some stuff that Orlando didn't want her to go to, and so it's sort of a thing. To be honest, when it popped up, I had already believed they had actually broken up pretty much, that they were already broken up. Apparently, that wasn't the case. Of all the breakups in 2023, this one was not a permanent one. This one was just, I guess, the simmering part of, are we doing this or are we not doing this? Apparently, they're still doing it. They're just not doing it with much effort into it. We'll see if an actual engagement turns into a longer-term relationship, an actual wedding, or if it's done for these kids. Let's go to our errors, apologies, and omissions section right there very quickly. One story that I didn't have time to get into, and this story is going to come back to us come the weekend, because this was the actual top story for this weekend. So when we do the weekly wrap-up next week, I'm pretty sure this is a top 10 story. Taylor Swift roots for Travis Kelce in reputation-coded outfit and curly hair at Chiefs-Ravens game. And this one, number one, because Taylor Swift is just oh so adorable. Now, we'll talk more about football coming forward because the Chiefs did get the win over the Ravens, and that's not the headline here. This is literally Taylor Swift showed up and rooted for her boyfriend. And this story will be in our weekend's wrap-up. I'm almost positive of it. Let's go now to our teaser story of the morning. And the teaser story is where we get a chance to explain the feeds, tell you how we pick the stories for you to engage in, and what happens to get them here as well. You can see the teaser stories at our feeds on Facebook and Twitter, or call it X if you want to. Facebook.com/this is a conversation project. X.com, there you go, /th_conversation. What you get from those feeds is every 50 minutes or so, we post a news headline from various different sources, and you get a chance to judge their worthiness. Engage in them. Like them, love them, hate them, share them. The more you clicked on them and do stuff with them, the better chance we have of talking about it. Today, we gave you 10 stories. They're from the top 30 stories for the full weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a teeny bit of this Monday. And then tomorrow, we'll give you the top we'll take the top 15 stories and pull 8 of those stories from today and a little bit of tomorrow. And we'll do that for all the rest of the week from Tuesday through Friday. That's how the stories get here. That's how we get them. In the end of the week, we'll give you the weekly wrap up, which is the top 10 stories from your pure engagement. We'll be talking about Lauren Boebert tomorrow. I always say Lauren Boebert, who finished in the middle of the pack in a straw poll in an inaugural GOP primary debate. There's a debate for the new district she's running for, District 4, I believe, in Colorado. I think she moved there. Was representing District 3, now moving to District 4, if I'm saying the numbers correctly. And what's happening is they had a debate Thursday or so, and she came in number 5, middle of the pack. So there's about 9-10 people running for that spot, all different flavors, all different nationalities, all different actually parties. That's the word I'm looking for. And she came up 5th. So not looking good so far as she carpetbags to the 4th district because she knows she's losing the 3rd district. Is this one that's worthy of talking about? You tell me. Engage in the story as it comes into your feed, or just go look for it because it may be in your feed already based on when you're watching the replay or listening to the replay, and let us know if this is a good one to get into. A good sponsor to keep up with is called Flowers Fast. Flowers Fast can be found from us and our affiliate link at this. It's the conversationproject.com/flowersfast. We get a small commission from this grouping. And after the 49ers and the Chiefs won their divisions last night, punching their tickets to Las Vegas for Super Bowl, that up in 2 weeks, that means you have 2 weeks to apologize because you may have found yourself saying not so nice things about these two teams to people who actually root for them. Or maybe you said way too many good things to people on the other two teams who lost, that being the Lions and the Ravens, and need to send some apology stuff or actually send more barbs because that's what we do in sports. Flowers Fast is an interesting way to take care of this, as you can send flowers to people and chocolates and other gifts to them pretty quickly. And if you're actually using Flowers Fast for the more traditional thing of getting yourself out of a jam, keep this in your back pocket because you never know when you need it. Flowers Fast offers you a chance to get flowers pretty quickly using the power of FTD in their floral network. They can get flowers on an early morning order to a person around the nation, sometimes around the world, if you will, that same day. Same day flowers, and great service from FTD and Flowers Fast. Check them out at our website. This is theconversationproject.com/flowersfast. This is one of our longest sponsors, and they've been with us for a while, and you can tell they have been because, trust me, I'm also a client. Flowers Fast can get you out of a jam, or maybe not, but give it a shot. Flowers Fast is there for you for Flowers Fast. We are there for you as well at the Conversation Project. We want to provide for you the best in conversation on news stories from around the world, literally, as we have a pretty big following in some various pockets of the world. A lot of Australian listeners, watchers, viewers that always surprise me, but we throw in a story from Australia's ABC and we can't tell the difference between people getting confused or just people from Australia hitting that spot, because we get a lot of those things. But what we really do is provide for you a place to have conversations on various news stories that may get missed out in the mix. We do the big ones. We do have the big ones there, but there are also some things that are a little slightly off that we want to make sure you have those. This came from me being a newscaster, a former paid newscaster, and not liking the news I'm seeing from the way the business is, and it just is what it is. So this is my independent work on doing what I can, and I need your help to keep doing it independently and doing what I can. How can you help me? Make sure you go to the feeds on Facebook and Twitter and give me news stories to engage in. Make sure you go to our email, which is theconversationinbox@gmail.com, and let me know what I'm doing well and what I can do to improve on things. Become a partner. Go to our website and check out the sponsors link and the partnership link and see if there are things that you can help us do more stuff better in general there. Literally fund us going forward. And make sure you're sharing all of our things, our videos, our audios, our shorts, our hot takes with other folks, like-minded people, to grow the thing. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is a great thing. In a few days, we'll start our month of love, which means pledge stuff. You're going to be annoyed by it, but hey, we're going to ask you every single day in February for a little bit of cheddar because we need it to go forward. There's plenty of work to be done behind the scenes and some actually front the scenes as well to make things go better and keep going. We need your help. I'm going to ask you for it a lot in a few days, so love it. mean it. So, but if you want to go ahead and jump on that, let me know. Email me what I can do, and of course, become a partner today. Now, fun stuff. I guaranteed you fun stuff for today's stuff to make you smile, and we have it for you right now. We always start off with birthdays because of the funnest of the fun stuff. Birthday wishes out to Tom Selleck, 79 years old on the day. Tom Selleck, of course, famous for actually some pretty cool movies, and then became Magnum on the original Magnum TV show, Hawaiian shirts and driving a Ferrari and everything, him and Higgins, and doing all that stuff, and bounced around some more great movies, Three Men and a Baby, things like that, and now leading the family in Blue Bloods, which is having its final season this season. If you watch Saturday Night Live, you got the joke that men are losing Blue Bloods and gaining So Help Me Todd. Actually they're gaining Justin Hartley's new show. He's 47 years old in the day, so I guess you can call that a tag team. Also, birthdays on the day is Sarah Gilbert, who's 49 years old today. So happy birthday wishes on the 29th to those trio of folks. Let's do a quick history lesson going back to 1999, where Britain's Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles appeared together in public for the first time, posing for photos outside London's Ritz Hotel, where they attended a party. Of course, by that time, it had been many years since the passing of Princess Diana, and the public knowledge of what was once an affair and now was just a flighting fancy and on to be soon to be a marriage for Charles and Camilla, who is now the Queen cohort. She's not the Queen because of all sort of weird things like that, but with Charles being the king, he was able to marry his first love, if you will, and go forward with that one. Many people still not happy with this, but it happened. This happened particularly the first time out and seen on the public in 1999. And today, Bubble Wrap Appreciation Day. Who does not like bubble wrap? Making the noise of it popping around the play, or just using it for its actual use. That is wrapping things that don't get broken. Bubble wrap is multi-personal because it's one, just kind of there, and two, just kind of there, and three, why are we even arguing this? Bubble wrap is awesome. Go out and appreciate it. Go buy a big old roll of it if you don't own it in your house, and pop it like crazy, because the only thing better than popping bottles is popping bubble wrap. That's the truth. And with that, we're going to wrap it up for this morning. Bubble wrap it, if you will. Monday, January 29th, 2024 edition of Things You Might Have Heard is now in the books. Thank you so much for joining us for the news recap we had of the weekend's greatest news, because you said it was great. That's how we know it's the greatest news. Make sure you're staying limber, hydrated, and on task for all the grand things you need to do. Follow us in the feeds. Consider being a partner, and be here tomorrow. We're going to do this thing again for you. Some is for me, but a lot of it is for you. And we're going to do it again. We'll give you 8 stories tomorrow from the top 15 of the day to give you something to get your day started off with, or throughout your day, because you can listen to this on replays all day long. Follow us, go to our website, figure out where we are so you can figure out where to follow us. And like we said, join us tomorrow for another edition of Things You Might Have Heard.